Last spring, I was filling out a job application that asked me one question. One question, followed by a text box, nothing else. That question was, what are you like? When we fill out job applications or do interviews, so often we're asked, what have you done? What have you accomplished? And so often when we meet someone new, they say, what do you do? Trying to identify you with what you do. This is really refreshing. So I want you to think about your answer to this question as I move forward here. This is me. In high school, I was that kid that flew through school. It was pretty easy. Graduated top of my class. Grades came easy. School came easy. Sports did not. And I wanted to be known as a leader and an athlete, not as the brainiac. So what did I do? I worked very, very hard. I worked hard so that eventually I was elevated to be the captain of the football team. I started both sides of the ball. But once I had achieved that, I began to coast. And the second game of my senior season, I broke my leg. And all that hard work that I had put in was taken away from me. After I graduated, I came to Ohio State. I was very lucky that by happenstance, I was put in Siebert Hall. Siebert Hall is the honors dorm at Ohio State. This picture is Siebert Hall in 1954. I believe when it opened. I use that picture because it had not been renovated since 1954 when I moved in. But this is a great opportunity for me and very valuable. Suddenly, after high school being the academic, the brainiac, I was no longer the smartest person in the room in this honors dorm. In fact, most of the time, I felt like I was the dumbest person in the room in this honors dorm, which was very liberating. It was great. But at the same time, I had a little bit of an identity crisis. All this time, I'd been known as the academic. Who was I now? So, back to the question. What are you like? I want you to think about that for a moment. Now, a lot of you are thinking about things that you identify yourself as, things that you want to be. Some of you may be thinking about things that you think other people think you are like. My goal is to have those two views be one. And that is called your personal brand. This is a term and a phrase that I was not aware of until very recently, this personal brand. In high school, my personal brand was defined for me simply because of my high academic performance. It was consistent. They said, okay, that's Jay, he's the nerd, he's the brainiac. In college, I had a clean slate. Now, you may not be so lucky. In the age of the internet and information, there's so much information on you out there right now that it may be difficult to start with a clean slate. And I won't get into the do's and don'ts of social media, but just know that it's very important in defining your personal brand as I move forward here. So when I came to college, I began to redefine myself. I got involved with a lot of student organizations. I looked at myself and said, okay, I know I want to be a student leader. I knew I want to be a leader here at Ohio State. What do? I looked at what I was good at. I was good at writing. I liked to write. I reached out to the school newspaper, The Lantern, began writing a lot of stories. My sophomore year, I wrote for the school paper, covered the football team, something that upperclassmen just did. That's me on the field there. I joined some other comedy publications, and soon I discovered my passion for business through the Business Builders Club. I got involved with startups. I had my own startup. My junior year of college, I got very involved with the Business Builders Club and the exec team, and now I'm the president of that organization. And I'm saying that because this all ties back to my high school experience. In high school, I was told a lot of times, 90% of sports injuries happen when someone's not going full speed. I can tell you that on that play that I broke my leg, I was not going full speed. And this taught me a very, very important and very painful lesson, that if you want something and you're willing to work very hard for it, why would you allow yourself to get complacent and have that hard work taken away from you? It's not enough to work hard. Working hard is great, but it takes complete commitment if you really want something. Every day, you should be doing something to make yourself better. Every day, you should be able to ask yourself, what did I do to improve my personal brand today? What did I do to improve my value statement to the world? If you weren't here right now, what would the world be missing? And a lot of times, like you've heard today, it's going to require you stepping out of your comfort zone. It's going to require meeting new people, doing new things. It's going to make you uncomfortable, and that's so good. That encourages growth as a person. Life is not about making huge, life-altering decisions. It's about discovering who you want to be and taking small steps towards that every day. It's about moving the ball forward, stepping out of your comfort zone. If you push the ball forward, it enables steps to go into action, the wheels to turn, so that a series of very fortunate events happens, not like Lemony Snicket's books. So it's time to think about your personal brand. I have some action items for you guys. I want you guys to think about this, be very introspective. Think about your values, your idols, and your flaws. This is an exercise for you. You don't have to share this with anybody. Think about what you value. What's important to you? What do you like? Think about your idols. Who are your idols? Who are your role models? How can you emulate them? How do you emulate them? And probably most importantly, think about your flaws. That's very hard, but if you can identify your flaws, then you can work on them, improve them. And if you're aware of them, when you interact with people, you can kind of control for how much they show. Now, it's very important to do these things because once you define yourself and you start pushing it out there and you exude these values, you start shaping people's perception. I had a marketing professor at Ohio State. She told me, if you want to change reality, be an engineer. If you want to change perception, be a marketer. Well, I'm here to tell you that perception and reality are the same thing. The way people perceive you, the way people think about you, dictates opportunities, dictates what you become. It's a painful reality. So I'll ask you one more time. What are you like? Think about that. With all this information, if you do not define your own brand, someone out there will. Take control of your destiny. Take control of your personal brand. Thank you.